Okay, so I was looking at some travel blogs about Bali the other day. You know how it is. And I kept coming across this place called Banyuwangi.
Uh-huh.
And it got me thinking, I realized I don't really know anything about it.
Yeah.
So I figured let's do a deep dive, right? Let's uncover what makes Banyuwangi so special, beyond the usual touristy stuff.
Sounds good to me.
Our listeners are all about going deeper, so we're talking history, culture, the works. Ready to get our hands dirty.
Absolutely. And I think what's immediately striking about Banyuwangi is where it sits on the map. We're talking the easternmost tip of Java Island.
Really? So we're practically looking at Bali from there then.
Practically, just a narrow strait separating them. And that proximity, that little stretch of water, it's played a huge role in shaping Banyuwangi's identity.
You know what that makes me think? That ferry ride over must be quite the popular route.
Oh, absolutely. But here's the thing. Banyuwangi isn't just some stopover point. We're talking stunning landscapes in their own right. Mountains, forests, coastlines. It's got it all.
Okay, so geographically it's a stunner. But let's talk about the people. I've heard Banyuwangi's incredibly diverse, even for Indonesia.
Oh, without a doubt. You've got Javanese, Madurese, Balinese heritage all woven together. But if we're talking about the threads in that tapestry,
Hmm.
there's one group that really stands out, even beyond the more familiar ones, the Ozing people.
Ozing. Okay, now you've piqued my interest. What makes them so unique?
Well, for starters, they have deep roots in the region, going way back. We're talking connections to the Majapahit Empire.
Wow, the Majapahit. Now that's a name I recognize. Powerful empire.
Exactly. Think 13th to 16th centuries, a major force in Southeast Asia. And the Ozing, they're considered direct descendants. That lineage, it comes through in their culture, even their language, which is also called Ozing.
So fascinating. So they have their own language.
Yep, it's like this fascinating bridge between Javanese and Balinese. Even incorporates unique words you won't hear anywhere else. For instance, they have keban, means to fall in love at first sight.
Kevon. I love that. It's amazing how a word can offer a glimpse into a culture's soul. Speaking of glimpses, what about the name Banyuwangi itself? There's a story there.
Oh, there certainly is. The legend of Princess Sritanjong. And it's a heartbreaker.
Yes. It's one of those legends that just stays with you. A princess, falsely accused, tragedy strikes. But through it all, her story becomes inseparable from the identity of Banyuwangi.
Precisely. The legend says that when the princess's blood was spilled, it flowed into the waters, and they in turn became fragrant. And that's where the name Banyuwangi comes from. It means fragrant water.
It's almost poetic, isn't it? A reminder that even in the face of tragedy, there can be beauty. And it speaks to how names often carry deeper meanings. But Banyuwangi's story, it's about more than just legends. We're talking kingdoms and empires and colonialism too, right?
Right. We can't forget the Blum-Bungan Kingdom. They were the rulers in this region for a long time, figures like Prince Tawangalun leading the charge. But what makes their reign so interesting is that it overlapped with the rise of a major player on the world stage, the Dutch East India Company, or the VOC.
Ah, the VOC.
Yeah.
17th century, right. That was their heyday. Weren't they all about controlling trade routes, particularly for spices?
Exactly. And Banyuwangi, with its strategic location, became a point of interest for the VOC.
So you've got this ancient kingdom trying to maintain its autonomy, and this powerful European force muscling its way in. Sounds like a recipe for tension.
Tensions, definitely. And while the specific details of the VOC's impact on Banyuwangi might be lost to time, it's safe to say that this era left its mark.
It's like what we were talking about earlier. Banyuwangi today, it's this fascinating blend of influences. The Ozing people, their unique culture, and then layered on top of that, you have Javanese, Madurese, Balinese traditions, all intermingling. It's kind of amazing, actually.
It speaks to the resilience of culture, don't you think? Even with those external pressures, local traditions, they found a way to not just survive, but to thrive and evolve.
It's almost like Banyuwangi is a microcosm of Indonesia itself. I mean, think about it. The history, the cultural tapestry, that spirit of resilience.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? If you had to pick one place that embodies the multifaceted story of Indonesia, its triumphs and struggles, could Banyuwangi be it?
It's a question worth pondering.
Yeah.
And you know what? You've convinced me. I might just have to book that ferry ride myself and experience it all firsthand. To our listeners, if this has piqued your curiosity even a little, don't stop here. Keep digging. There's a whole world of fragrant waters out there waiting to be explored.